want to bring in now from Nicholas Wealth Management, David Nicholas. And David, you just heard Susan. This Coinbase IPO sounds like a grand slam. I mean, it's a profitable offering. It's, by the way, sort of like a sighting of a dodo bird. But I will say, Shamal Paplatia, he actually put out a tweet today saying that he thought that the folks would get too greedy and he's not going to touch it. So I'm torn because before I saw this tweet, I thought I would be a buyer. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I like the stock. I'm probably a buyer. I want to see where it finally ends up. But, I mean, you can't argue with the revenue. I mean, revenue more than doubled last year. User growth doubled. I mean, every metric you look at for pricing this thing is pretty amazing. Obviously, it's directly tied to the price of Bitcoin. So, obviously, as volatility is there, it will affect the valuation. But volatility for Bitcoin is actually good for Coinbase because they're making a commission every time one of these coins is bought and sold. So I think the more this price moves around, the more buyers and sellers you have, the more money Coinbase makes. So I don't know, Charles. I like it. I'm very interested. So we'll see. But I think I'll be a buyer.
All right. I'm still a little upset because I tried to open a Coinbase account when Bitcoin pulled back to 17,000. I spent half an hour messing around. Maybe it's me. I'm not the best person when it comes to this stuff, but they cost me a little bit of cash. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'll get a discounted insider price. All right. Hey, by the way, let's stay on this topic because yesterday Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway had some choice words for many of the trends in the markets, including Bitcoin. In fact, he said Bitcoin reminds me of what Oscar Wilde said about fox hunting. He said it was the pursuit of the uneatable by the unspeakable. So what's your thoughts? Is Charlie Munger getting something wrong here? Because I think you like Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with Charlie Munger and even Warren Buffett, right? But, I think they're discounting the amount of liquidity that's in the market right now. I mean, when you talk about some of the numbers, we've been talking about $3 trillion in stimulus, another $2 trillion this year. I mean, valuations essentially don't matter. They are the valuation kings. So when you talk about Bitcoin, I mean, they're looking at it as it's going to replace transaction currency. And I could agree with him there. Like, I don't think Bitcoin is going to replace the dollar or replace currency globally, but it's an asset class that people find value with, and I don't think it's going away. So I like Bitcoin. Obviously, it's a speculative investment, but I just think they're underestimating how many institutions and individual investors have bought in and believe that Bitcoin has staying power. So that's where, respectfully, I think he's wrong.
We just had Jan Neffen on a moment ago, and I'm pretty sure you must have heard him. We were talking about this, the consumer already set up pretty good with their balance sheets, already spending a lot of money, ready to get even more money. Now, we see the reopening stock, some profit taking there, which, by the way, was simply overdue. But when this money hits, where do we buy? How do we take advantage of it as investors?
Yeah, so if you look at the airlines, we actually booked some profits yesterday on Southwest. I mean, we'll look to get in another position. But I like some of the walk-in retailer names. You mentioned a few earlier. Names like Academy Sports. It's a name I've talked about before. Really big here in the Southeast. I think that's a great play. I like TAP. Cores, I mean, if you look at the valuation on this thing, 10 times forward PE, I mean, there's so much value built into a company like TAP. I just think you can't go wrong. As restaurants get back open, as the weather gets warmer, I think a company like that could do really well. Another one is Vista Outdoor. I mean, ammunition maker, a little bit of a contrarian reopening play, but I think there's value there as well. I mean, when you see just what's happening in the ammunition market, outdoor gun ranges to the like. So I think those are some names, some of the sporting good names, and even a name like TAP. I think there's still value there, and that's what I'm looking for in a reopening play.
David, great. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.